Moment. Welcome. We made it. Welcome to the Midday Moment. I am your host, Dr. Davina Jones, Assistant Spiritual Leader of today's church and fivefold General for Church of the Everlasting Kingdom. Just as you need your physical exercises so that your body can move and go where you need it to go, you also need your spiritual exercises so that your emotions, your mind, your thoughts, your filters, how you're thinking through stuff, your will, how you act out, all of that, which we call your soul, it needs spiritual exercise. It needs guidance. And so the midday moment is committed to share with you and inspire your spiritual exercises. So I share parts of my spiritual exercise with you just briefly. We're not here that long, okay? I'm not, I don't recall us ever going past, at least in recent years, never gone past maybe 30 minutes, but we've been as short as 5 minutes. So yesterday was really quick. I was on grandma duty and stuffs. Yes, we're encouraging your spiritual exercises, which can be a blend of different things, meditation, study time, and all of that. Very specifically in January, we were emphasizing we name our spiritual exercises in triplets. So for January, we were studying visioning, visualization, and dreaming, and how those together yet unique in their own way can support your spiritual exercise. And so we talked about the manifestation board, your vision boarding, what's your word for the year, all of this visioning, visualization, any guidance from your dreams and your intuition and so forth, the prophetic component of you. So we encourage that in January. February, we have been encouraging and emphasizing fellowshipping, networking, and mentoring. Stop trying to be an island to yourself. That's how you got into this mess. Not listening to people, or maybe listening to the wrong people. That's a good segue into today's topic. So we're in this series called Esther's Civil Disobedience. I started this series because folks have been talking, folks have been concerned, because sometimes the body, like your physical body, sometimes your body gets a little loud, a cough that's a little, it's more of a cough than the normal cough, or an ache that's more of, a little beyond the normal. So the healing sometimes can be a little bit beyond the normal. And so America has some coughs right now. We got some coughs and a bunch of stuff going on that's a little bit beyond the norm of what we've experienced. Some might say a lot beyond the norm. And so listening to and talking to friends and colleagues, I thought it appropriate for me to give some thoughts and some perspectives. This is how I've been embracing my spiritual exercise, that to include the study, study, reading, and all of that. So Esther's civil disobedience. We started with the fact that this is part 7. We started with the fact that Esther indeed practiced civil disobedience, because there's a debate. Do you always follow the law? Yes, you follow the law. However, there are times when the law is not just, it is not right. And so we talked about when the woman was caught in adultery and they took her to Jesus, or they took her before the people, and Jesus said, "Hey, the person that's without sin, you throw the first stone." And he didn't say, "Lady, what you were doing, whatever happened, good for you." He didn't say that. He didn't applaud what happened. He said, "Go and sin no more. Whatever happened, however you got caught up, if there's any way you can stay out of this situation right here, go and sin no more." Okay. And don't beat yourself up about it. Just go. No condemnation. Just go. So he's inserting and advocating for righteousness, a righteous cause, all right? Right consciousness in the situation, even though it was the law to stone this woman. So likewise, Esther is challenged of speaking up on something that has been legally implemented. there's a death warrant that has legally been implemented. But just because it's legal does not make it righteousness, peace, and joy. Doesn't make it right consciousness, peace, and joy for the uplifting of the human soul and the human condition. And so Esther decides she's going to do something about it, and she eventually goes before the king. Okay, the problem is that's civil disobedience in of itself, because you're not supposed to go before the king unless he asks for you, and if he doesn't give you permission while you standing up there, you out of here. Okay, and so she says, I'm going to see the king, her own husband. She said, I'm going to see the king, but if I perish, let me perish. Civil disobedience. Part one, we said, before you implement anything with your good little strong got something to say self, you need to fast and pray. All right, we're getting ready to enter into our consciousness journey here and our spiritual communities associated with the Church of the Everlasting Kingdom. And we're going to be fasting and praying for the next several weeks. We start reading this coming Sunday, we start fasting next Wednesday, Ash Wednesday. And so I'll make sure I share some information for those that desire to join with us. All right, so before you do anything, you need to fast and pray. Part two was, you need to know what you're called to do. Esther was called to go before the king. She went by herself. You got to know what you're called to do. Part three, you got to know what you're called to do and what you're not called to do. She went by herself. She told Mordecai to go over here. You get the Jews, y'all fast and pray. And the handmaidens over here, because they knew the story too. The Bible even says that they're the ones that told her Mordecai was out there crying. You need to go see what's up. We know that's your cousin. We know y'all related. We know you are a Jew. All right. And that's something else too. You need to have some confidants in your corner. All right. Okay. So, anyways, and then she had other people over here to help her with that banquet. She didn't go over there and cook and decorate herself. So you got to know what you're called to do and what you're not called to do. So fast and pray, know what you're called to do, and know what you're not called to do. Three, my apologies. Three, know what you're called to say when you show up in there. Know what you're called to say. Know what you are called to say. She was very intentional about what she said, how she responded. Number four, know what to do next. You need to know what to do next. Now, what next? You got to make sure you listen to the spirit and know what to do next. And you need to make sure you got the credibility to do the next, okay? People out here trying to do stuff, you don't have the credibility to do it. You do what you have the credibility to do. You don't have the credibility to do everything, to lead in every lane. So make sure you connect with somebody that's got the credibility to do XYZ, okay? Number five. What's your moral compass? She was offered half of the kingdom and she didn't take it. She was in part five, she was offered half of the kingdom. Hey, April, and she did not take it. You better know your moral compass. Because, baby, you'll get into some of these situations and people will make you an offer, as the Godfather says, that you can't refuse, that you don't have the strength to refuse. Know what you're getting into. She was offered half of the kingdom and she walked away from that for the greater good. What is your moral compass? What are you doing this for? Number six, timing. Know the timing. After two banquets, she finally senses that this is the time where I need to say what I'm going to say. And she marks the time. Now, before, did I say? Yeah, that was part six, the timing. So she timed out what to say in terms of making her request. So she timed that. Part seven for today is listening to people. It goes right into our our focus for the month of the spiritual practice, fellowship, and networking and mentoring. Who you talking to? Who you networking with? Are they networking in your best interests? Okay. And so Haman, the the energy in the story, because we got this Haman energy too. You just need to tell Haman what to do, and stop that part of you from being so insecure that you got to go off here and try to kill somebody else with yourself. So Haman, was invited to the banquet. It's so strategic. I mean, Esther was something else. Well, she was smart. Um, and Haman went back and told his family, the queen invited only the king and myself or what have you. It's a special invite. And oh my goodness, he was just, overjoyed, joyed over much, joyed too much over himself that he was invited to the banquet with the queen and the king. And the people he told it to, it said his wife, did it not say his wife? He told it to his wife. Let me see. Then, yes, he told it to his wife. Um, uh, yes, his wife. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all of his friends unto him. He told it to his wife and his friends. And he was still upset about, he was upset about Mordecai. And they told him, who you talking to, who you networking with. His network told him, you need to lay the gallows for Mordecai. You just don't even wait for the execution of the Jews. Just go ahead and get the gallows ready now, so you can hang him. You can do it. You can do that now. That's what they told him to do. And you know what? That joker went out there and did it. That joker went out there and set up these gallows for Mordecai. Now, those of you that already know the story, or you're reading the story in real time in the book of Esther, or you've read it or what have you, you know eventually what happens, right? These are the gallows that Haman himself um, is hung on. Did I say that right? You need to be mindful. Be mindful how you put your mouth on people. Be mindful what you allow your network to tell you to do. You need a new network. If your network is not leading you up to forgive, there is a friend of mine had a very, very low moment some years ago. It was probably, if not the most vulnerable moment of my life, one of the most vulnerable moments of my life. And I shared with this friend something that was extremely sensitive. And it was something where they had room to say, "Oh, that's so and so. I know so and so," and they went, they had room to do all of that, and that's not what I wanted, but I knew that was going to be the average person's response. And yet I needed a safe place. And so when I said to them what I said, their immediate response was, "Forgive. Forgive." That's it. They said forgive. That's the network you need, because that his network didn't tell him to forgive. His network said, "You know what you ought to do? You ought to go over there." And let me tell you something. Let me tell you, this same network, this is going to be the close for today. This same network, the same people that told him to do this, after it had come to light what Haman had done in terms of the edict that was going to kill all the Jews, he became sorrowful because the king did not like what he had done. And listen, the same wife and friends in chapter 6, now chapter 5, Esther chapter 5:14, they done pumped him up to go create these gallows. In chapter 6 verses 13, after what he has done has displeased the king, now the same friends and the same wife say, mm, "If Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shall surely fall before him." Oh my gosh. So the same people that said you ought to go out there and tell him, you ought to go out there and build a gallows so he can hang. These same people come back around and say, "You know what? Well, what you thought was from him is it's gonna be for you." The same people. Let me tell you, you better make sure you hanging around. You better make sure you are networking and fellowshipping and being mentored by some folks that's leading you up, not to the gallows, but up in consciousness, to righteousness, to peace, to love, to joy. Make sure they are leading you to the heart of God. Make sure they are leading you to Matthew 5, the Beatitudes. Make sure they are leading you to Galatians 5, the fruit of the Spirit. Make sure. Make sure. That is going to be the difference maker. All right, I gotta go. That's it for me. I love you. Take care. God bless you. Listen, thank you for those of you who contributed to sent donations to the church. To In my name for the trip to Africa. I bless you and I thank you. I will send a personal thank you right now, just as soon as I log off of here. I thank you. Very kind of you. Those funds have already been sent to the team there in Africa. Our treasurer, Winifred, told me in the text last night. She said, these are the people, this is what they sent. And I already sent it to Dr. Pulley over in Africa because the work has already begun there, buying mattresses for the orphanage there. They've already been to one of the colleges, at least one of the colleges, and really encouraging skills training for them. And Jesus was a carpenter, so it's not going to hurt you to get a skill. It's not going to hurt you to get a skill. You need a skill other than lying and scheming. Okay, get a skill. Jesus was a carpenter. All right. And so, and we are now preparing for our international holy convocation next week. And so I will be leaving tomorrow to join them. So thank you for supporting those mission works. I did have some additional personal expenses to come about. And so if you feel so inspired, feel free to support me personally. And so that information is here as well. I think I got my Cash App and PayPal down there. And so thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. Like and share. Don't be stingy. Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. Love you. Peace and blessings.